I'm on my way to Universal Records to interview Carly Rae Jepsen. I've got 20 minutes to ask Carly Rae about 80s nostalgia and music and coming of age as an artist on TV. I just hope there's enough time for Carly Rae to help me find some answers. Today, the rock geek goes pop. Carly Rae Jepsen isn't your typical pop star. Starting out as a top contender on Canadian Idol, she still had to claw her way to the top of the charts, gaining her first hit 5 years after she appeared on the show. Carly Rae's new record, Emotion, transcends the nostalgia of its own 80s-inspired sound. She redefines herself and the possibilities of radio pop with sophisticated arrangements and mature, empowered lyrics. This sort of career curve and artistry aren't what I've come to expect from pop megastars. And so I had to know, can you be an idol but still pay your dues? And if so, is Carly Rae's journey a new strand in the web of the modern music business? Emotion is your first LP since Kiss was released in 2012, and your first since Call Me Maybe became the highest-selling digital single of all time. What was it like preparing for this new album after the mega success of your second record?
It was pretty nutty, actually. I think as soon as we handed in the album for Kiss, I had this really annoying, prolific month where I was like, why am I writing right now? I don't need to. But I think that's kind of the trick with it, is you just write when the inspiration hits you. And since the turning in of that album, I've been going nonstop. The only real mission statement that I had is that I did want to take time with it and allow myself to experiment. And I knew when I found the right song, I'd know it. And I think Emotion was one of the first songs that I really felt that about.
One of the most striking elements of Emotion to me is the fact that you worked with a host of producers on the album who are definitely more associated with the indie and the alternative space than what we would call radio pop today. Dev Hynes, Ariel Reichstad, Vampire Weekend's Rostam Bamanglish.
You can say his last name. That is a gift in itself. I can never pronounce it properly.
I studied before we talked.
I can tell.
Rostam Bamanglish. Those decisions show on the album because Emotion doesn't sound anything else like I'm hearing in contemporary pop music right now. Oh. And so, what was your thought process like about kind of taking that album in sort of that more unconventional direction?
There was really no rules. It was just, in all honesty, what I was naturally attracted to. I was trying all different routes and experiments with writing and collaborating. And these are the songs that worked out the best. I was attracted to Dev from Blood Orange by listening to some Solange records, and that led me to him just by kind of checking the credits on that. And I think same goes from Ariel with Sky and Haim, and it's been sort of one of those long searches. I made lists of people that I loved, and I myself was kind of emailing people on the fly, being like, hey, this new album, I want to try something completely different, or do you want to get together Friday and we can write and see? And some of the stranger collaborations ended up turning out to be my favorites.
Was there a particular track on Emotion that you think is most representative of what you were trying to accomplish with the album?
I think All That was really satisfying in a lot of ways, because I think even after Call Me Maybe and Kiss, I really craved to kind of show this other side of what I love musically. And I think Dev and Ariel, for that, it was shocking to kind of send that into my label and be like, I wonder how they're gonna take this. It's totally different than anything we've presented before. And to my delight, everyone was like, this is not what we expected, but we love it. And that's how I felt too.
On Emotion, Carly seems to have solved the mystery of using retro-influenced sounds to create something modern and fresh. But I want to dig a little deeper and see if I can understand the secret behind using 80s-inspired sounds without sinking into the realm of empty nostalgia. Emotion deals in a lot of warm synths and a electronic dance pop rhythms and melodies. And for most folks, when they hear those sounds, the first thing that they think of is the 80s. But Emotion isn't beholden to just replicating the sounds of the 80s. It definitely, positions them in a decidedly modern context. And so for you, how did you go about ensuring that Emotion didn't consist of empty nostalgia and that it repurposed these older inspirational sounds in a new light?
Oh, first of all, thank you for saying that. I think it was a challenge. I didn't want to make an album that was just a period piece that was like this 80s throwback thing. I wanted to definitely incorporate what I love from the 80s, which was songs that weren't just hooky, but also had this emotional thread to them. They had stories. I think even growing up on a folk appetite, you learn to appreciate the story in the song, and that can translate into pop just as much as jazz or anything. So it was exciting to kind of just take from this era that emotion and somehow spin it in my own way. And I have to thank the collaborators that I worked with. In large part to that, they helped me kind of be braver than I probably would have been just on my own.
Were there any particular, acts from that era whose sort of unguarded emotions you think influenced you the most when you were working on this record?
Well, when I was in New York here doing the little Cinderella stint, which was life-changing in its own way, it was funny because I had this exercise routine every morning where I was listening to like some old school Prince records and running and kind of getting ready for the show. So Cinderella had a very Prince-ish appetite. And I think a lot of his songs, I think probably my favorite pop song of all time is him writing Nothing Compares to You but Sinead O'Connor ended up covering and making kind of so iconic. But there is something to his songs too that offers so much desire and longing and just that feeling, and I wanted to capture that.
Right.
I don't know how else to explain it.
Carly Rae is redefining what it means to reposition classic sounds in a modern, forward-thinking context. You need look no further than the record's lead single, I Really Like You. And as a movie lover, I couldn't wait to hear about Carly's experience working with the legendary actor Tom Hanks.
I really wanna stop, but I just got the taste for it. I feel like I could fly with a ball on the moon.
You got to work with Tom Hanks in the video.
I did.
Yeah, in the video for I Really Like You. So what was it like having a 2-time Academy Award-winning actor be in the video for the lead single on your third album?
It was one of the craziest experiences of my life, if I'm being honest. There was a pretty magical moment when he was unsure of the lyrics at the beginning of the first verse, and he called out, "Does someone have a lyric page?" And I was over in the corner, and I was like, "Well, I know the lyrics if you want." And I found myself for one very beautiful moment getting to direct Tom Hanks, or so I called it. They're like, "You didn't do anything; you just told him some words." But my cousin was actually in town, and we just got to both pinch ourselves watching this person who we'd grown up seeing in all these movies just lip sync into my song. It was nuts.
In reference to reality competition shows like Idol and The Voice, Foo Fighters frontman Dave Grohl famously pontificated, "Kids think, oh, okay, that's how you become a musician. You stand in line for 8 f***ing hours with 800 people at a convention center, and then you sing your heart out for someone, and then they tell you it's not f***ing good enough. It's destroying the next generation of musicians." But with all due respect to Mr. Grohl, there's more to this story than that, and Carly Rae Jepsen had perspective he could never provide. In 2007, you competed on Canadian Idol, and then... but you didn't, really have your sort of big breakthrough moment until 2012 when Call Me Maybe became smash global hit. So as someone who's experienced both the highs and lows of the music industry, what lessons do you think the many roads you've traveled as a musician have taught you?
I think that it's tricky. I think with a reality television show, it's not for everybody. You kind of have to be aware if you sign up for something like that it's a little bit of a gamble. But I think it's also a really great stepping stone, if you can look at it that way. I saw Canadian Idol as just this beginning of something maybe, and that the real competition would happen afterwards. landing third on that was a gift because I had a lot of exposure from that show, but none of the ties, none of the contracts. And it really helped kind of bridge the next step, which was management in Canada and a label in Canada. And that's where I put Call Me Maybe out for the first time, which is how you kind of look at it all and it's like, well, if that hadn't happened, none of the rest of this would have. So I guess for advice, I would just say to try everything, knock on every door. You don't know what's going to open for you and what that leads to. And usually I find that it leads to something.
Do you think you would be as satisfied with your career and your music if you had had, the kind of success you had in 2012 immediately after that show ended in 2007? Or maybe do you think that sort of gestation period of 5 years helped you grow as an artist?
The best way I can answer that is I can remember being Little Orphan Annie in my high school drama production. And at the end of this 7-day run, going home and crying to my parents, and I said, I was from Mission, BC, which is a very small town in Canada. And I said, what if I'm just this child star? They're like, no one knows who you are, first of all. But I can remember thinking, God, it would be really hard to have everything blow up when you were too young to kind of handle it and have it die down so fast. And I'm really grateful to the journey of my life. It's been sort of ups and downs and constant roller coasters, but very exciting to see that it can still keep going up in different ways too.
Carly Rae Jepsen has left me feeling a little like Marty McFly. We have traveled to the past with a new take on some classic 80s sounds, back to the present with her challenge of outdated notions about how artists pay their dues, and on into the future with an album that defines where pop music is headed tomorrow. The world of music is in constant turmoil. It's not easy to make sense out of the chaos, but I need to try and figure it out. And that's what makes me the Rock Geek.